I guess I'm trying something that I haven't tried in a while, y'all. I'm going live. Um, Today I want to talk about something, and I hope that you know. I just hope this message or this touch somebody, and somebody understand where I'm coming from when you're dealing with this type of abuse. When you've been abused by religious um, parents and religious environments. In some ways it could be good to have some, regiment or some, discipline about your life. And for that, you know, I appreciate the that positive aspect of it. But in a lot of ways, a lot of us were so severely damaged by church. Um, the black church, I'm saying in particular, because I don't know nothing about no other church. Um, Baptist, African Methodist, Apostolic Faith, Church of God in Christ, um, and those of us who had fathers or mothers, missionary or ministers, we um, even suffer a little bit more abuse in some ways. Now, this is just, I'm speaking from my personal experience and other people that I know that grew up with me. And I'm looking at the comments. And one of my most videos that were commented on most is the video I had about James Cleveland and his um, allegedly molestation of the young man that was settled out of court later. You know what's sad about the whole thing is being a person that grew up in church and who started their lives so hypocritically. I mean, I could all this stuff that now that I've gotten older has really pretty much damaged my psyche when it comes to religious people, some of the behaviors of the musicians and the people in church, you know. And so I can vividly, vividly remember having a conversation with a person that I brought to church. Why didn't this? I didn't necessarily bring her. They came from down south, from Arkansas, and they wasn't involved with church. They came from a family of alcoholics and stuff. And I took her to church with me because her I was friends with her brother. Well, her brother was a friend of my brother's, put it like that. And he said, I got a cousin that's coming to town, and she's like your age. I hope you can, you know, share some stuff with her, cause she don't have no friends. She don't know nobody. And I said, okay, sure. Rest in peace, bro. He's no longer here. But um, we were all kids together. So I took her to church, and like anybody else who is probably searching for something and running from something at home, church became a refuge for her. Um, Much more than me. And I'm the one that, brought her there, really. So it was really kind of weird how that happened. Um, I eventually stopped going, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. I recorded a R&B record with a group, and they didn't have no more love for me anyway. And so it was time for me to make my exit, but I left my friend there. And what happened to my friend is nothing short of a horror movie. She was molested with objects, bottles, broom handles. All this by her pastor. And I call him her pastor because she stayed there so long. The original pastor had died, and one of his sons took over. And he was such a perverted individual that by the time he got done with her, she couldn't even use the bathroom. She couldn't even use the bathroom normally anymore. She couldn't use the bathroom normally anymore. And I felt responsible. Why, I don't know. I was 4 years older than her, but I was not her mom. And I was not her keeper. But I was the person that took her to church. Okay? I was the person that introduced her to this religious thing. Okay? So when I hear stories like James Cleveland, for every person that got mad at me for saying that, or those of y'all who get so angry when you hear about somebody dare saying something bad against the church, my thing becomes, who in the hell are you to make people feel bad about their experience in church? And what kind of person are you that would want to silence them? Silence them. Because if you really think about it, Christianity, it is the religion of, in my opinion, and it depends on how you read it, it is a religion that condones man on boy love. I mean, what the hell is Cupid? Ain't nothing cute about it. And when you look at it in terms of certain religions that like to cut little boys' genitals and then suck on them, what is that? What? Oh, because of the circumcision, huh? And that's the historic excuse. And it wasn't until that little baby child contracted herpes that people tried to do it different. I don't know, y'all. I got a friend also. The deacon first molested him when he wasn't even 10 yet. I know guys who have been molested by the directors and the musicians in the church before they became teenagers. I know one particular situation where one individual gave almost everybody, and I believe he was a carrier. Every young man in that church that he had a relationship with ended up dying of AIDS. This is my religious experience. And it's a lot of people's religious experience, except they just put it under the rug. They don't want to talk about their religious abuse. They don't want to talk about the sexual experiences and the sexual deviancy that goes on in the church. I think Ray Charles hit it on it a little bit when he talked about he thought people in the world was freaky until he went to the church. I think it was Reverend C.L. Franklin's church, and he saw just how them church people was getting it in. That's how it go down. It really goes down in church. And so for all y'all that acting like I'm out of order, religion again split my family right down the middle. And really that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how my father and my mother both started out, because my father is a son of a preacher man. He started out in the church of God in Christ. Well, when they decided that my grandfather got married too early, I'm ready, or press 1. You can also set a FedEx home delivery is scheduled tomorrow, May 10th, 2000. When they found out that my grandpa was married to somebody else before he was married to my grandmama, they made him leave. This is how this stuff is connected. They made him leave his wife, who had all those kids. Okay, made him leave her with her all those kids because he had been married before, and then that church don't believe in divorce. So that's what split him up from his wife. Okay, and my father said that his dad, after that happened, would act like he didn't even know them. They would see him eating in a restaurant, and he'd sit there and look at them like he didn't even know who the hell they were. This real, y'all. This church people. This real, though. My mother grew up in such a dysfunctional environment with so many alcoholics that she was like, I just want to get to the church. And so for her and her concept, the church saved her life. It saved her. Now, when those two people got together, they had two different outlooks and opinions about what religion was. One of them thought religion was freedom, and one of them was so sick of religion already as a child because they saw religion had took their dad away from them. Okay, I want you listen to this story. Because this is what church folks did. My mother and father split up because he went on to become a minister in the Islamic faith. He began to study and he learned Arabic, and he learned from somebody from the Middle East, Mahmoud. They really had love for my father. Because here's this young black man from Gary with a family, and he's a faithful man, and he's trying to learn who he is. And so they took him under their wing, and at the same time, my mother saw herself losing her husband. She saw it. She saw her husband being taken away. She saw it. And guess what? Without that, she was lost because she really didn't know this person. She really didn't. He was her first boyfriend, her first love, her first everything. And now she's pumping out these kids, and she only knew this dude for 3 months. And they were both so very young that pretty soon, because he wanted to continue to experience Islam, and she didn't want no parts of it, it split their religion. They family, which is my family, right down the middle. So my brothers didn't go to church. My older siblings didn't go to church, and then my younger siblings, me and from me on down, we had to go to church. And I used to have to listen to my father tease us by saying, "Y'all going to the madhouse today?" The minister used to talk to the women in church like they was dogs. And I would wonder why he would talk to them like that. They'd stand up and maybe want to testify, and he'd say stuff like, "You sit on down. You just said what you got to say. Sit on down now." And I noticed that this was a common theme in all of the churches that I would go to. You know what it was? The minister was screwing the ladies in the church. Those missionaries that he talked to like dogs, that had them out there selling candy and from sun up to sundown and bring him the cash, those women, they were really his little prostitutes. They was out there making money. It was just legal. That's what I saw in the church. I saw so much sexual dynamics that you can't even talk about it all. But I know that there's a lot of disease, there's a lot of destruction. And I know one thing. There's a lot of musicians that if I would mention them by name, one of them, I'm not even going to mention, but put it like this. His mama, he was a musician that went all around traveling with all kinds of guys. Ben Tankard, all of them, playing the keyboards, doing okay. You figure it out. When he passed away, his mama started talking about she don't even want those gays nowhere around them, and they were so hateful that if they could have had it and just kept it undercover that he passed away, they would have kept it that way because they didn't even want nobody to know that he was part of this life because he was gay. But the choir director was gay. See what I mean? It's just a bunch of mixed up type of stuff. And nobody want to talk about that type of shit. But they want to talk to me about why I said James Cleveland and what he did was unacceptable. He was a pedophile. And because he did good music, it does not exclude him for the people that he hurt. People that hurt in the name of music. The person I'm talking to you about sticking objects in a person was one of the best guitar players in the Midwest. So don't tell me nothing about that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Shit, somebody say religion split their family down the middle. They know what they talking about. They know exactly what they talking about. Now, what's your story? Tell the truth. What happened to you? Or did you just put it and throw it up under the rug, said Jesus would fix it, and none of those people repented for what they did to the children or to people in that church, women and men? Tell me nothing about. If anything, I want people to have religious freedom. Religious freedom. Freedom. Imagine, as John Lennon said, imagine no religion. Black people wouldn't know what to do with themselves if they didn't have no religion. They wouldn't know what the hell what to do with themselves. I'll show by that. They don't know. They wouldn't know what to do if they couldn't do that. And I'm straight up for real. I ain't gonna be on here long. But that's why I can say what I say about James Cleveland and anybody else from the church. Because religion split my family right down the middle. And I'll say it until I leave this earth. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'll see y'all in the next video. Leave your comments. Let's talk about it.